It can happen at any time, any place, and no one is ever truly safe from gun violence. It's sad to say that we live in a time where we need to be constantly vigilant of our surroundings. We need to know who's around us and where our emergency exits are. Gun shootings can happen at schools, stores, churches, clubs, and even your own home. Our Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says, "The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." Don't worry, it's not a real gun, it's just a BB gun. Gun shootings have been seen more than ever before in our country's history. This is why the U.S. government should ban the Second Amendment. It allows easy access to criminals and mentally unstable citizens to firearms. Only government officials should be able to bear arms. In our country's earliest history, I could see without a doubt why there was a need for civilians to bear arms. Nevertheless, with changing times comes the need to change old laws in order to bring solutions to present problems. Gun shootings are on the rise. The Gun Violence Archive defines a mass shooting as one with 4 or more victims, not including the attacker. In 2020, there were more than 600 gun shootings, compared to 2019 with 417, as mentioned in a list of partial gun shootings of 2021. So even with the pandemic going on, there were still gun shootings happening. We just weren't hearing about them because our main focus was on the coronavirus pandemic. The Gun Violence Archive also mentions that there was 15,208 deaths in 2019 and 29,500 injuries. Imagine how many lives we could save if we banned firearms to civilians. Now that I've told you what an epidemic gun violence has been these past couple of years, let me explain how easy it is to get a hold of firearms. It is a U.S. right that civilians can bear arms. But these are the hands of criminals, mentally unstable citizens, and children. Did you know that when you buy a gun from a gun store, you need to complete a background check? But did you know when you buy a firearm from a gun convention or online, you don't need to complete a background check? In addition, it's no secret that the pandemic has caused a rise in firearm sales. It's also caused an increase of mental health issues amongst the U.S. citizens. So now that I've explained what an emergency gun violence has caused for our country, let me propose a solution. Ban firearms to U.S. civilians and only allow government officials of federal, state, and local governments to bear arms. Did you know out of all of the world's countries, there are only 3 that allow their citizens to bear arms? The U.S. government, Mexico, and Guatemala. There are plenty of other world powers that don't allow their citizens to bear arms. Let's use Australia as an example. They banned firearms and they even told their citizens to sell back their firearms to the country. Let me end by saying this. Every day, there are hundreds of victims due to gun violence that are injured or die. These surviving victims of these tragedies may go on to tell their stories, but at what price? They will bear post-traumatic distress, some for a short period of time and others for the rest of their lives. And what breaks my heart the most is when these victims are innocent children who are scared for their life. No child should ever experience a gun shooting. It is in the hands of the U.S. government to make the necessary changes in order to protect our country's citizens before more innocent victims are injured or killed due to gun violence. It only makes sense to me to ban firearms to citizens and only let firearms be kept in the hands of trained professionals whose sole job is to protect and serve the nation's citizens. Thank you.